Hey Eva, what's up? Nice to see you. All right. Let's get the stream going. We'll start in 1 minute. Okay. Good morning, everyone. We're going to start in 1 minute, not even. Okay, welcome everyone to the Pro Trader and Plus and ISM Manufacturing. My name is Lee Goldstein, Trading Director at 10 Minute Trades. Please remember, all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully, please. And I want to welcome everyone on YouTube. This is our stream of the week. So welcome everybody out there on YouTube. I put a link in the chat. If you want to join with us and come into the trade room regularly, you can join by hitting that link. Okay. Hey, Alfred. Good morning. Okay. Everybody's checking in this morning. The markets were truly closed on Friday, and there was a major news report, PCE price, that, we trade that report normally. PCE prices, personal income and spending. The PCE price index is actually the correct name of that report. And then also personal income and spending. And I think initially when the market opened Sunday evening, it opened very bullish. The market seemed to like that data. When I looked at the data, it looked like the numbers were just a tiny bit under expected inflation, which I would think would have been relatively good news. But you just never know these days the way the market is going to respond to news and how it's going to interpret. And there often are multiple pieces of news making up one report that complicates the reactions. Okay. Now, this morning, at this moment in time, gold is just continuing its bullishness. It just is not stopping. Gold extremely bullish again this morning. You look at the ES is relatively flat. Bonds are a little bit down, and I'm talking from 6 p.m. the previous day. Gold, while it is the number one trade on the DMM, it's not. I'm going to trade bonds because I do like the way bonds have behaved on this report. And they have a lot more liquidity. And today is a holiday in quite a few countries. I think volume will be lower. So I'm going to go with bonds. Generally, when one of them is good, the other one is good. It can often just be a question of how are the fills. Gold, I like trading gold, as whippy and crazy as it is. When you have a nice win on gold, it's great. So I was going to just take a look at a 15-minute chart on gold. So you could see that when the market, today is the 1st, the market opened on the 31st, obviously, Sunday evening, and gold just continues its tear to the upside. So we'll keep an eye on that. The high of the day, not too far away. Now, a couple of interesting things. There is a report at 9:45, and here's the interesting thing. This final manufacturing report used to be a report that I watched. We traded it a few times. It moved more than 75 ticks last month when Chantal and I tested it. I don't know if you all remember, but I do remember. It had a gigantic move in the room, 85 ticks. And so we went back and tested previous, and it was an anomaly. There were no movements on the previous reports because I would have been interested maybe in putting another trade on at 9:45, but it really just looks like it was an anomaly. If all of a sudden that report is going to start exploding, then we'll trade it. But I don't think today is the day to start trading that report based on one event. We need more than one event to make us take a trade. So let's take a quick look at what happened last month. You'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, hold on. I can't do that. That's for sure. All right, so here's last month. Now, let me go to 9:45. I think we probably recorded that move. So watch this move at 9:45 last month. Gold is on the left. ES was on the right. And there's that 9:45 report. That would have been a money-making report. I mean, I know what kind of setup I would have used for it. Similar to the ISM setup we're using now, it wouldn't have been all that different. And I think you would have gotten quite a bit of profit. And it was not a huge news offset either. I mean, 0.7 is just not that big of a deal on this report. So it's really a mystery why that report had the kind of move that it did. It's an unknown. Here is our friend, the ISM, regular ISM manufacturing. Eva, there's a lot of new people. It's the trade room turnover, Nobody knows you anymore. So gold had a very nice move last month on ISM. Now, if you notice, I was trading the ES trap trade in our Top Step account, and it got blown out because the move was too big, but it was not by all that much that it blew out the trap trade. Here's the funny thing about this report. The reality is the trap trade on the ES is absolutely one of my favorite setups on this report. But our tiers just were too small last month. The report doesn't change the fact that the report still reverses. It still has a setup that can work. We just were responding to a little bit less volatility than we expected. And the volatility was a little bit higher and it blew through the trap. That happens. And you just can't give up on a trap trade because there's one stop. I mean, I just would not give up on a trap because of one stop. Because you're going to get stopped on everything occasionally. On the good reports, there's just going to be stops because that's life. This is ISM 2 months ago. Two months ago, we were trading the ES trap live in the room. I've bounced between the ES trap. We've traded the gold breakout and bonds we trade as well. So today, my reason for bonds is I want the more liquid contract because there are some holidays throughout the world. But this does eventually reverse. And bingo, it does have an opportunity for profit. Okay. There you go. It was actually a very good trade. And it was a good gold breakout. The most recent stop on this report was 3 months ago in January. And it also traded with jolts in January. And tomorrow we have jolts. So we're not going to talk about jolts today. We'll talk about jolts tomorrow. But nevertheless, that was a stop. And ISM was part of the trade setup, a very important part, and it stopped. Ironically, it went through my first target on gold, and because of bad liquidity, it didn't fill it. It's hard to see unless you really watch carefully. It actually went through my first target. I don't know if I'll try and stop the video at the right there. Okay, see? It's actually, yeah, you know what you can see there is my orders are not officially placed. And that may be why it didn't work. That's a tough one to say. It looked like the orders were not set. Nevertheless, January was a stop. Okay. I'm going to trade bonds. And here's the way I'm going to trade it. It's a breakout today. Now, the DMM, I am sorry it was late because of the holiday. My boss is ultra religious. And I don't know. I did not get the DMM till this morning. So I waited and waited and waited last night. So bonds. That's my one setup. It's a bracket of 6. So it's a 959, 58 on the entry. It's a bracket of 6. And you got a couple of targets of 6 and 15, which I think is fine. And you've got a stop of 10. I'm tempted to trade an extra contract, but because of the holiday, I'm being more conservative. Just going to trade normally, I think. I'll make a decision at the last second. No matter what, I would use the target one stop move. If it hits the first target, I'm going to move my stop to break even -2. Break even -2. Okay, I'm just going to be careful about the stop moving. going to label my trade, of course. And then I'm going to check the width of the brackets by setting the time to 0, like we always do. And remember, when you enable a trade with 0 time, it'll put your brackets on the chart as soon as the software calculates the bracket. And then you just have to remember to go back to your strategy. Put your time back on, 9:59, 58. And then you also have to remember, you all are using the previous version of the software, so don't forget to turn off your account warnings, okay? Don't forget to turn off your account warnings. Don't forget to choose the account that you want to trade in. And don't forget, when you make that choice, to make sure that your charts are on the account that you're trading, okay? If you're trading in your evaluation account, make sure that your account says Apex or Bullmox or whatever. Now here comes that 9:45 trade. Watching gold. $51.9 versus $52.5, lower than expected. Not getting a very big response. Okay. Not getting a very big response. They were expecting 52.5. This has no bearing on our ISM trade. These trades are not related in terms of there being an out and out effect. Now look, it's moving, okay? There you can eke out, you could squeeze out a trade on this report, but it has been very inconsistent. So you have to make decisions, but it certainly is an event that has some possible trade potential. We always keep an eye on it. This is the news we're going to be looking at for ISM, okay? And I think this morning, I want to keep the news on my screen this morning. Let me see if I can do this the way that I want. Okay. So we've got our bond trade set up. All right. Bonds are ready to go. Going to triple check the time. Okay. Bonds are ready. Bracket is 6. 8:29. Sorry, 9:59:58 is the activation time. 9:59:58. Okay. It's a 10 o'clock event. Targets anywhere between 6 and 20 with a stop of 10. And then you make a decision if you're going to use the target 1 stop move. So our bond trade is ready. Gold I'm watching, and maybe I'm a glutton for punishment, but in my Top Step account, I'm doing an ES trap again. I'm just watching gold a little bit here. Now, I think what I'm going to do is watch gold on the right. the far right, GC0624. Okay. ES0624. And the trap trade on this report, the time of the event, if anybody out there is trading the trap trade, the time of the event is 10 o'clock. I'm using the newer version, so I do time differently. And you do a 5-second prep. 5-second prep. Okay. I'm using the ES with the new software, which will be out soon. And now we have tiers. The tiers are up 30 and 40 on the tiers. And the stop is 20. 30 and 40, stop of 20. That's what I've got. Okay. 30 and 40, stop of 20. Trap trade. Certainly risk. If it doesn't reverse, it'll be very disappointing. But when I say the testing is fantastic on the trap trade, I'm not joking. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Bonds and gold are the family money trade. Both of them trade very well on this report. Good question. Next, the ES, the trap trade. I like all three setups. Does it mean they're all going to work today? You never know. But I like all three setups. Gold has been trading very well on this report also. And Alfred, thank you so much for the kind words. I truly try to help as much as I can. So let me just show everybody where I got that trap trade from. Prep is 5 seconds. Time of event, okay, is 10 a.m. The tiers I'm using, 30, 40, and a 20 stop, okay? That's what I'm doing on the ES. I'm down in my Top Step account. How much am I down? $508 since I haven't been trading it nearly as much as I probably should be. Okay. So it's hanging in there. It's definitely hanging in there. Let's check our time sync. Let's check our time sync. You all can hear me, right? Okay. Checking the time sync by going to the website Time Is. Right now my computer is in sync. There's a lot of good files in the room drive for everyone. So don't forget to check in the room drive. There are some good files in there. The gold setup, if you're interested in trading gold, it's a bracket of 12. Activation, 959.59. Targets. I would use targets anywhere between 10 and 40. Be prepared to manage your way out of a trade if you use bigger targets. The stop is 20. Okay. And just like when I use, for instance, breakout on bonds, I would use the target one stop move. You can use that target one stop move. Target one stop move. On that gold trade, you can make it break even -3, break even -2. but gold can be kind of whippy on this report. So it can sometimes protect that first set of profits if it hits your first target. Now, the other thing that could be interesting, I'm not sure there will be an opportunity for a change in direction here, but I'm going to put a one contract 30 tick target, 20 tick stop, reversal continuation trade on a top step. I probably won't be able to do it because I'll be managing the trap trade. But you know, sometimes a trap can end pretty quickly. So never mind. I'm putting it on gold. So I probably won't have time to pay attention to it, but I'm putting a reversal on gold also in top step. And I'm just using one position, a target of 30, a stop of 20. Make sure you label it if you do it. REV, 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 just so you know what's going on. And then that I'm also going to put on top step. Now I've got to get my face away from the buttons. Okay, so instant long, instant short. If I was interested in trading gold, I would have the opportunity. I'm going to concentrate on my bond trade first. Cash comes first. Top step, important. Going to concentrate on the trap trade also. Okay. And then everything's important. I'm going to concentrate on, see if there's anything going on with gold. But the key is when you have a whole bunch of things going on at once, you know, don't do something when you don't know what's going on. You're better off not pushing the trade. You don't want to just take a trade automatically just because you have buttons on the chart. Doesn't mean you have to rush into a situation that isn't quite right. So just make sure everything makes sense if you have multiple setups. And I just wanted to make sure that our YouTube friends are out there. It's very quiet out there on YouTube. Thanks for coming. Hit that like button if you can. All right, so we've got about 4 minutes to go. No idea what's going to happen here. ISM, it's been a good report. It got stopped in January. I like the fact that it had a fairly recent stop. What makes me very nervous is 6 winners in a row. Wow, my computer monitor went out. Can you all hear me okay? So I lost my webcam. My clock is missing. Very strange. Let me see if I can get it back. Let me close my webcam. Everything seems to be okay. All right. I cannot find my topmost clock. It's got to be here somewhere. All right. Our brackets will show up in a couple of seconds. Ten seconds, roughly. Okay, there's my brackets. So it's 50.3. It's definitely not pushing very strongly. I'm going to cancel the ES trap, combine my orders on bonds because we're not getting much of a push at all. Take a tiny, tiny profit, okay? Not the kind of move I would have expected. Maybe it's related to the holiday. Maybe it's going to still push. Maybe it's going to still push down. The news is positive. It should push, but it didn't push. Gold is pushing a little bit, but it almost just seems very mild response to what should have been a big burst. A very mild response to what should have been a big burst, okay? So that's why I took myself out with just the teeniest profit. I think that I'd be surprised if it really pushes up much. I don't think it's going to push up much. The news is all positive. Do I want to take a risk of a short in the prop account for a test of the low? I think there's a possibility it'll work. Certainly there's some risk there. I put a 20 tick risk on it. So let me do this. So I'm not seeing my darn orders. So maybe it's related to the little glitch that I had. So I can't see my orders. So I'm probably going to close. I'm going to let it push down a little bit because I think it's going to. Or let me see. No, it's me, folks. It's just me being a dope. Okay. So there's my orders to the downside. Okay, I'm going to take $180 out of my prop account on that short. So make sure, don't do what I did. You got to be on the right charts. I was on my wrong chart, so I didn't see the orders. I took that instant short. The news is so positive. That's why it's pushing down on the price. But we didn't get the kind of pop that I thought we would get. the kind of burst. So you want to protect your profit. Okay, you want to protect your profit. No one really should have lost money. You should not have lost money. I mean, the trade worked. The trade worked. Okay, I'm going to close out my bonds. All right, Sal made some money, real money on micro gold. Larry, very nice trade, good trade. Gold was the better mover, ultimately. Gold had the better move today. Bonds did not have the good move. Better fills on real money than Buell Knox. Interesting to hear, Sal. Love to hear that on a regular basis. Anytime you want to pipe that in, feel free. That's good info. We're thinking of doing Buell Knox. If anybody else wants to chime in, if you made money, Sander, there was not much money to make on bonds. There just wasn't much opportunity. Bonds, the trade after the news was fine too. The short after was good. It was worth the risk. It looked like with that news, it really looked like it was going to test the low, and I could have stayed in longer for sure. Not going to jump in now. That's a magnet trade, folks. And our new software is going to have magnet trade settings. Glad we canceled the ES trap, not the right setup. Okay. Not a good reversal today. Not a good reversal. So glad I didn't stay in the ES trap for sure. All right. Still, everything moved in the direction of our DMMs. So it still was a good trade. Anybody else chiming in? Did you make money, not make money? Anyone else trade? Greg and Buell Knox, a little bit on bonds. Okay. Everybody has Buell Knox these days. All right. Well, they allow news. That's the deal with Buell Knox. They allow news. So Top Step allows news also. Okay, folks, let's take a look at the video. Let me render the video real quick. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to have to check my monitor connections real good. And let me just save this video. All right, let's see what happened. I want to thank everybody on YouTube. So this was our free stream of the week on YouTube. If you hit the notification bell, you can find out every time we're going to stream. Thanks for watching. We're going to close our YouTube stream, and there's a link there, getjobbnow.com, if you want to join with us and always come into the trade room. It's not delayed, and you can trade with us in the trade room. So thanks, everybody, for watching us on YouTube. We're going to close the stream. And then for the rest of us, we're going to look at our